all right. And there, hold on a minute. Calm down a little bit. I get really excited about all this, right? I got to take these glasses off because they are really hard to. The glare is just off too. I'm going to put some tint on my glasses, apparently. It's been a hectic day. Been busy, been good. There's no problem with it. It was actually a really good day, I would say. Hardest thing was getting up this morning at 15 till 6. I used to be able to get up real early, but my gosh, here lately I go to bed tired and I get up tired. It just doesn't seem to help. The sleep doesn't help much. Hopefully it's going to change, though. Hopefully it's going to change. I'll tell you about it in just a second. Also, this is Cassandra Williamson, as it says right there. I mean, if you can't read that, I mean, that's what it says. It's Cassandra Williamson. And yeah, let's get into the show, folks. We are going to have a conversation. Let me go in and drop down the music completely out of the way and go up to my banners and put this one up there. The first one is, this is Action News and Talk. This happens twice a day, noon and 6 p.m. And this is a live event, a live streaming event, going to Facebook and YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, you name it, going out there. I don't think I put it on the website again today. Anyway, so it's going to be good, though. It's going to be good. So I just wanted to make sure you know that. And the next thing you need to know is that the opinions expressed here are solely mine and mine alone. They do not reflect that of any organization, agency, department, or anyone. These are my opinions. These are my opinions, period. And so so we're just going to jump right into it. The first thing I want to do is what we ordinarily do. Let's go take a look at some news. And I've got to pull that up in the background here, and we'll go take a look at it and just see what's going on. We had some big wins this morning or last night, actually, in Ohio and Virginia and Kentucky as well. So let's just go present some pages over here. We'll go share and pick that window. We'll go right there and share that one. Okay, so liberal and moderate candidates take control of school boards in contentious races across the U.S. And I'm sure that's making the libs of TikTok just livid, but I don't care. We've got enough extremism in this country, and that turns out today that the Anti-Defamation League has shown that there's an increase in all this anti-Semitism and hate coming from the far right people that we already know they think those things anyway. They've just been silent while everything else is going on around the country. But let me go back and let's start over with this one. Let's see what it has to say. Just briefly, you can go check it out too. This is a story from the Associated Press, and it's written by Brooke Schultz and Jeff Mulvihill, something like that. And then also breaking news up here at the top: Minnesota Supreme Court dismisses effort to block Trump from state's primary ballot. Okay, so okay. Anyway, so this is an interesting story. You got different places: Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, down ballot stuff, Moms for Liberty. That was the other libs of TikTok and Moms for Liberty, and that bunch of people. Anyway, I'm glad that we had some wins across the country in that regard. So let's just go jump over to something else and check out the next one. Father said he was relieved when he was told his daughter was killed by Hamas. Now thinks she's, well, my gosh. Not going to read that one. Add, SCOTUS justices confronted with their own historical tradition rule as Biden lawyers use their, what does that say? Own words against them while arguing for a gun ban on violent abusers. Okay, so. Okay, and that's a reply. I don't know exactly which thing it is over there. I reply to a lot of things on here because I want to get people, up in arms. Because the only way I can get people to be interested in what I'm talking about is to kind of poke them with a bunch of needles. Because we don't have the financing, we don't have the power to be able to influence them any other way. So you have to poke them and make them respond. All right, so let me just get rid of that one. Let's go back to the next article. We're going to look at a city banned pride flags on public property. Now they're getting sued. Good. Absolutely, should be sued for that. You can fly any other flag there, right? Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's LGBTQ Nation, the news source there. That's an advertisement. Um, okay, no, U.S. Army's anti-woke ad sparks war speculation. Okay, so this is interesting. And guess who? Over on Twitter, I saw a lot of comments about this particular ad that the Army put out. And here's the thing they did. Here's what they did. It's I don't know if I can play it. Is that something I can play from out there? Anyway, so conservative commentators have claimed a new U.S. Army recruit ad, which predominantly featured white men. Predominantly, I think that's all that was in it, from what I hear. I haven't looked at it myself. Is a reaction to 15 years of relentless progressive brainwashing as a sign that we're definitely going to war. What? What? No, you don't have to be white to go to war, and that's not the sign. Well, maybe it is if you're really warped, but no, I mean, my gosh. The 30-second ad depicts a group of soldiers jumping from a Chinook helicopter and parachuting to the ground, together with the captions, "Your greatest victories are never achieved alone. Be all you can be." And obviously, there is a complete lack of diversity in that thing. There was no representation of anybody else in there, but you can't tell. Also, you can't tell that except for the color of their skin. That's the only thing, but you don't know anything else about them. You don't know if they're LGBT. You don't know any of that. Or trans. You don't know that either. But, you know, the only thing that these people over there on the Twitter sphere was talking about, Twitter space, was the fact that it was a white bunch of people out there doing it, and they were applauding it. Oh my God. Anyway, let's drop and go to something else. Kathy's barista quit in protest over Jewish owner support of his what? Crow. This is a British news story anyway. I do think Tennessee Republican urges or argues federal funds to feed school children should be performance tested. You have got to be freaking kidding me. Who is this person? We need to be calling this person up and say, you have got to be freaking kidding me. This is a story by David Badash, the new civil rights movement, and actually published over on Alternet today, about a day ago. Tennessee is arguing federal funds to feed school children from low-income families should not be accepted unless it can be proven that the program will increase test scores. Okay, folks, this person's name is Representative John Reagan, R-A-G-A-N. R-A-G-A-N. This guy is a complete asshole. Why the heck is he even a representative? Well, but then it is Tennessee. I get it. I got it. All right. All right. Okay. That man is just an absolute idiot. An absolute idiot. Jeez. You've got to be freaking kidding me. Obnoxious, unrepentant, anti-gay bigotry of Tennessee Representative John Reagan. Evades me. Lawmakers, what I did was I pulled up everything that has been about him. Evades me. Lawmaker won't answer if feeding low-income students is just a good thing. Gay Tennessee 7th grader attacked with "Don't Say Gay" law, he defeated. Okay, well, whatever. That was 10 years ago. I'm not going to go back into all that. That was 10 years ago. This guy's been, has a record, folks. A new civil rights movement. Okay, let's get out of this one. Let's get out of that one. John Reagan, remember the name? John Reagan. We should be letting his office know just to see how stupid he is. No. Michigan town votes to oust entire government over Chinese factory plans. That's not of interest to me right now. Spurs winger, nope. Voters in Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York side with tough on crime candidates. This is from the Washington Examiner. Obviously, that's what they're going to be focusing on. And not the big stuff, but obviously the little stuff. This is from the Washington Examiner. Farnini Chakraborty. Okay. It was a bad night for some progressive prosecutors in Pennsylvania. Look, let's see if they even mention that in Virginia, Danica Rahm won that a Senate seat. Let's see what they go down through here. Abortion rights win out in 2023 elections, showing GOP hasn't found footing. Okay, all right. Let's go right on down the line. Okay, go on down the line. States, Washington County. Let's see what else they say. It's a mixed bag in Virginia for a trio of progressive prosecutors funded by mega donor George Soros. They have to have a scapegoat for everything. If it's not George Soros, it's transgender people. I mean, George and all the transgender people in the world, I mean, we're just the root cause of it all, aren't we? I mean, that's what they want everybody to think. Anyway, let me go. No, they didn't say a darn thing about it. Anything else yet? Let's see if there's anything else in here. I'm going to go click on Washington Examiner just to see what they have talked about. Trump facing blame for Republican statewide losses in off-year elections. Okay. I don't care what Trump thinks. Really, really don't. Top court decides whether Trump, NYPD, state AG tells Trump judge to block expert, 10 vulnerable GOP districts. 3 things, Youngkin map, who chief. Look at that. There's not an article in here about. Oh, let's just go look at this one just for giggles. All right, we're going to open this. No, close that. I don't want that thing. That's an ad. Okay, so let's see what they say. If they say anything at all. Okay, so in off-year elections, go down through here. Let's talk about what happened in Chip Roy, memo, Texas, no, Ted Cruz, Trump, according to him, Trump endorsement two-edged sword. Cameron lost in Kentucky to Andy Beshear, the Democrat. Thank goodness. Let me see what else. Mitch McConnell, Truth Social, former president wrote Jennings. However, I'm just kind of scanning really quickly down through here. And Trump similarly blamed McConnell for Republican losses during the midterm elections of 2022, but he's doing it again here too. Okay, Democratic candidates also credited abortion with their significant off-year wins. The topic important to most was most obvious in Ohio. I got that one, absolutely. He really is the author and finisher. Okay, don't know. I'm going on down, particularly, let me see. I'm wanting to see if they even mention the fact that Danica Rom won in Virginia. Let me just do a search on their page. Let's just do that. Can we do a search on this page? Oh, and also the Republican debate is tonight. It's in Miami. But guess there's going to be a Republican debate on December 6th, folks. Guess where it's going to be? I think I'm going to have to get me a seat to that one. And that is right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Yeah. Who do you get an invite from for that one? Let me see. Do I know any friends in the Republican Party here in Tuscaloosa County? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, yeah. I know somebody. I know Hayes, the county attorney here. Former Marine, Marine for life, obviously, but also the county attorney. He's definitely in the Republican Party. Oh, John Merrill's here too. I'm gonna have to hit up John Merrill. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what's coming. They don't talk about Danica Rom down through there. I didn't see it anywhere anyway. Can you do a search here? No. Anyway, let's get out. Just wasting time with that one. Okay. Not interested in that. Associated Press. Librarians turn to civil rights agency to oppose book bans and their firings. Good for them. Glad to hear it. Gets into heated exchange on George Soros during anti-Semitism hearing. It's got to have a scapegoat. Got to go paint somebody else with this broad brush of being the one that just absolutely is your problem. No, your problem is your problem. Gats. You need to go on back home down to Florida down there and take Tuberville with you because he lives there too, even though he's senator for Alabama. Okay. Let's go on. Liberal and moderate candidates take control of school boards and contentious race. That's back to the beginning. All right, so we're going to drop out of that, go back over here. We got 2 people watching, and I don't know how many comments. There's a bunch of comments, 65. Let me go see. Somebody's just thoughts on BBC thugs. What about BBC thugs? What's a BBC thug? Okay. Prolapse pride. Is this live? Red? Yes. Red asks, is this live? Yes, this is live, Red. It sure is. I'm afraid to come out of trans to my family. Anthony G. Well, let me see something. Anthony, first thing I want to say before we go any further, if you read the caption at the bottom down here, I want to make sure that this is clear to every single person here. If you're under the age of 18, this show is not for you. Leave. Period. Leave. Go find something else to watch, but not this one. Okay? Yeah, there's not going to be anything that I say in here that's horrible or anything like that, but I also don't want any trouble with anybody. Period. Ever. So if you're under 18, hey, just go take a hike, go find something else to look at and watch. Okay, Big Black. Okay, any advice? Yes, Red, this is live. I'm afraid to come out. Okay, any advice to what the heck? Okay, let's go on down. I think this person, avoid. Well, you need to leave. As a matter of fact, now. Leave now. Okay. Okay, we got a lot of crazy, stupid people on here right now. Can you ban the racism in your chat, please? Yes, I can, Big Buck. Let me see. As a matter of fact, if you're, look, let me just put it like this. There's a lot of people in here right now. I'm not quite sure what you're doing in there, but I can tell. Can we see your search history and hard drives? Who? MySpace sent me your, oops. Okay. Unfortunately, this boomer isn't reading chat. Okay. Oh, okay. Somebody said here. Let's pull this one up here. Oops. Sorry. YX. Okay. Wait. You a dude acting like a woman? But look. First thing is, I am not one who's ever going to deny to anyone that my genetic sex is anything other than XY, male. Period. Okay. Yeah, that's my genetic sex. That is not my gender. I have control over the gender far greater than you would suspect. You may not, but mine doesn't align with my genetic sex, okay? And I've had all of the other procedures, just so you know that too. And by the way, for those of you over here, now look, if you're still under 18 years old, leave. This is not for you. I'm gonna see if I can do some of that. I got this right here's one I want to try to put this person and take that one out of the show. And let me hold on a second while I get some of these comments out of here that don't need to be there. I got to find Big Buck. I'm trying to find them all. I know I'm trying to find all these ones. Hello, how you doing? Thought on BBC thugs. I don't know what that represents. Yes, this is live. Big Black. Okay, I'm taking that thing out. Block that user. Delete their comments. Okay. And Anthony G, you need to go home. Get out of this program because I'm getting ready to do some talking that you have no business being a part of, son or daughter or whatever you are. Acts in what? Oh, I see what you did there. Free Max B, you're gone too, by the way. I'm taking you out, banned, and delete your comments. Okie dokie. We're gonna clean it up. And Rectal, I'm taking you out too, because that's just plain stupid, the comments that you're making there. I mean, you're just trying to instigate things, and I'm just going to ban it completely. So you're banned. Okay, Big Buck, I am working on that right now. Oh, and I see what somebody spelled in here too. Somebody, letter Lemby. All right. Well, you know, letter Lem, bring all your friends with you over here because I think maybe you're in the closet. Come on in. You're in the closet. You really are, apparently, because, I mean, why are you here? Those words don't bother me. As a matter of fact, you know, I'm too old for your words to bother me. Wait, really too old for that? Anyway, so the four-letter Lemby. Okay, four-letter Lemby. I'm banning that one, too. I'm going to ban the user and delete your comments because I'm reading what you put in there now. Oops. And I don't mind what oops. Sorry, XY put in at this point about you a dude acting like a woman. No, not acting at all. However, you know, it's been, yeah, I am who I am. I don't worry about my freaking voice anymore. I try to get it changed. I got a story to tell you. I did try to change my voice. The VA, the Veterans Administration. Since I'm a veteran, I get my care through the VA, and 30% disabled, PTSD related, and all that kind of crap. I've got all of that. That's good. I've got it. But they also send me out to the University of Alabama here, where I live in Tuscaloosa, to help me get the voice to change a little bit. I could get the bottom of it cut out to make it sound a little bit better, and we worked for a while, and I mean, it worked so well that I was able to go out with like 5 guys at one time, and just yeah, it was it works. but somewhere down the road, about I guess 4 or 5 months into that training program, they said, "How about if we just go, do a voice analysis of your voice and find out what dialectical influences there are in your voice, and we could do that and make it easier to train your voice not to sound that Marine Corps-ish." Which I said, sure, why not? So we did. They did a voice analysis. You read a couple of words, stuff like that, and match it up. And a couple of weeks later, they come back with this analysis, and they compare it to this big library of voices from around the country. And they said, "It sounds like you're from Eastern Kentucky." And I said, "Oh, crap. I grew up in Eastern Kentucky all the way over there in the Hatfield-McCoy feud country." Sure did. That's where I grew up, right there in those hills. And I'm not old enough to have been around when they chased that pig either. But anyway, so I said, "Look, now they said it would be real easy for us to train your voice to sound like a girl from Eastern Kentucky." And yeah, they can do that. And I looked at them and I go, I love my family. I really do. I don't want to sound like my family, my sisters from back in Kentucky. I love my sisters, don't get me wrong, but I just don't want to sound like that, even though I can't get rid of all of it. They still can tell where I'm from. But from that point on, I just said, this is the voice I've got. Testosterone put this voice here when I went through male puberty back there in like last century, way back in last century. So, I'm just stuck with it. And so are you. So let me see. What other comments we have here? Let me see. This is let's see what this one says. We'll just take it up here. This is your average brain dead NPC. What's NPC? I don't know what that means. Trusting mainstream media. No, mine's pretty balanced. They read an article for 60 seconds and decide someone is bad, LOL. No. I know the history, and I'm also pretty swift at figuring out where they're headed with that. Because in the headlines, they kind of drag you in, and then you can read the first sentence or the first paragraph, and then you've got it. I mean, they tell you what they want you to know in the first paragraph or two, then the rest is supporting. So I'm not wasting a lot of time, Okay, let me see. I have 2 more years to live. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Evoking? What is evoking? Okay, I'll put it up there for you. Oh, okay. Here we go. IP2 always wins. I don't know who IP2 always wins is. However, let me just put it like this. This cross-dresser is taking all of the propaganda. Okay. Oh, nope. Well, I'm not a cross-dresser. I live my life 24/7 as me. I've had all the procedures. I've had everything done. This is me 24/7, period. Don't like it? That's on you. And if it makes you feel kind of wheezy or queasy or whatever, that's also on you. And yeah, thanks IP2. This is hilarious. Yeah, I bet that dumb Nick is streaming on TikTok. Oh, well, whoever that is. I don't know what you mean by that. And W. Trump? Who's W. Trump? What's a W. Trump? Will not vote for Trump? How's that one? I've put it in the current vernacular. Won't vote for Trump. Okay. This raid has been amazing. This dude actually read chat. I do read the chat, actually. I'm over here right now. Do you want to make an OnlyFans video with me? Your beautiful no, James Worley? I do not. I don't do that kind of crap. I'm not into that, period, ever. Not ever. Okay. And what up, bro? Okay. That's what James Worley said. So, by the way, this is going live all across Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. It's out there. This is the fun part right here. Let me see. This is white nationalist. Is this a white nationalist podcast? I'd love to have a few of them show up in here because I'm going to tell you something. I grew up around a bunch of that crap. I know all about that stuff. I sure do. Sure do. But this is not that show, folks. No. Nope, I am strongly opposed to any kind of anti-Semitism. If you come in here with anti-Semitism and I find it over there, and and you're not, you have, I don't mind opening the floor up to a conversation that's rational, that people actually carry on and want to talk about something. But if your language turns into vile hatred for another group of people just because you don't like them, then we've got a problem. And okay, let me go on down here. Let's see. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Okay. A racist streamer called Burger Plant sent them. I found it too. Well, come on over, folks. Just come on in and enjoy. I've been raided. All of y'all know that. I've been raided. This is a live show. Oh my goodness, Cheesehead was banned and their comments removed. Yeah, I removed Cheesehead. I don't know what Cheesehead was saying anymore. Forget it. Sipper Dipper. Let me see. Let's go on down through. Oh, okay, I'm going to go down to the bottom and get the most one. Let me see what this one says. I was going to ask your hand in marriage. You said you like Jews. My Persian is soft. BBC is soft. I don't know what BBC stands for, but Javier, yeah, I actually support people totally. I don't really care who they are. They have every right to exist as anyone else does. Anyone else. And this anti-Semitism stuff or anti-Islamist stuff as well, anti-Islamic stuff, that stuff's wrong. All of it. It's all wrong, period. And if that's occurring to you, Javier, people are doing that to you because of who you are, that's wrong. And I'll stand here and fight and defend that with everything in me because I can't stand hatred coming from one group to another because it's just infantile, to put it bluntly. Even though it is thousands of years old, that kind of hatred for other groups, it's a 1,000-year-old scourge on the face of the earth. Jews have been hated since, 1030 BC, whenever the United Israeli Kingdom was around. Back then, yeah. And then in 586 BC, whenever the Babylonians actually enslaved the Jewish people, and then on and off the land over there in Palestine and Israel, that whole region right in there, it was all part of the United Kingdom of Israel. And then it became the Kingdom of Israel and the Kingdom of Judah, split up. 586 put over into the Babylonians, enslavement right there. So, this kind of hatred has been around for a long time. It's not just, it goes all kinds of ways. There's people over and who are Jews who hate other people too. And I get it. I get that. It's just as wrong. And I will tell you this also, and I do support the Palestinian people, but I do not support Hamas and never will. All right. So can we go on a date? I don't know. Facts are not hate. Yeah, that's true. Facts are not hate. But you also don't get to decide which facts you like. And that applies to everyone. I know. I really do understand that a lot of people use all kinds of words and all kinds of language and all kinds of things that they call fact, that they call that as, real and factual and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So, there it is. Come on over, bring all your friends in. This content is laughing my ass off. Okay, all right. What's this? Oh my God, add him to the network. Come on, add me to the network. I don't mind you calling me him because that's on you. I know who I am. I don't need your approval to be me. You don't need my approval to be you either. and I will defend your right to be you as long as there's no violence associated with it. The moment other lives are threatened by you, who you might believe in or what you might believe in, then we've got a problem. Okay. But you have every right to believe the stuff that you want to believe in. And if these people over here watching, I don't know where you're from, but if you're from the United States and you were born here or naturalized here, then you're an American. I don't care what your ideologies might be, you are an American. And if any of our people or anyone goes around saying that person is not American or that person is not American or that person is anti-American, are they Americans? Yes. If you're born here or you were naturalized here, you're American. We come in all kinds of flavors, all kinds of flavors, all kinds of ideological baggage that we carry with us, folks. That's just the way it is. But they're still Americans, and I will defend that right for you to believe what you want, as long as you don't try to force your beliefs on me. Because I'm not trying to force myself on you. You're over here watching me, okay? No, actually, eyeball. No, you've got that screwed up right there. Look, you want to have a conversation about what that's all about? Really? Do you? Oh, I'm going to put my coin back down. Well, that's all right. So one of those challenge coins. All right. So anyway, so no, look, I've told people at the very beginning of this, and I'll continue to tell people that I know my genetic sex is XY male. I know that. That's on a very macro scale, very large, looking down on it in a very macro scale way. And I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you, and somebody asks how old I am. Look, I am 64, soon to be 65. I got 4 children and 8 grandkids. And if we were to fly the flags of the service branches represented in my immediate household from around this nation, well, I served in the Navy, in the Marine Corps, graduate of the Naval Academy. I had a son in the Air Force, son-in-law in the Army, and others in the National Guard, all over the place. I mean, we cover everything except Space Force and Coast Guard. And I'm down here in Alabama, of all places, Tuscaloosa. When did you become? I've always been. It's just, okay, here's what, let's see. When did you become a woman? I actually let the woman out that you see in 2016. And so, yeah, that's when I did that. I actually let this woman, I've known this since I was probably 5. I knew it back in the hills of Eastern Kentucky. I knew then. But can you imagine telling somebody back then, oh, look, I don't think I'm in the right place here. There's something wrong with this. No. No, that's not going to happen back there. And no, and by the way, there's some of you who are going to say that, that they equate sexual orientation with gender identity. And no, that's not the case at all. I was a straight man, married, happily married. I was happily married, divorced back in 2000, like 23 years ago now. And so, yeah, I mean, look, gender and sex aren't the same thing. Genetic sex and the gender are not the same thing. And there's people in this country right now, who want to remove the word gender from the entire lexicon of the federal government. It's called Project 2025. Go check it out. So, let me see just something here really quickly. And did you decide you were a woman after your PTSD? No, that's a good question. That is a really good question. It's something that I've been concerned about too for a long time, Matthew. It really was very definitely something that I thought about. However, no, I knew this long before then. I was just recently diagnosed with PTSD, and the VA actually, they agree with me that it was a result of some events that occurred back in the military that I can't tell you about. So those things, yeah. We're going to leave that alone at that point, but know that, PTSD diagnosis occurred much later. I knew that I was who I am that you see right now. I knew about this, like I said, back when I was 5 or 6 years old, probably right around that time. That's when everybody understands what their gender is, really. That's when everyone decides that. Every person watching right here, you have a gender and you have a genetic sex and you have a sexual orientation. Every single person here now watching this show, you have a sexual orientation. It might be straight, heterosexual or straight. That's one sexual orientation. You know, it could be gay or lesbian or bisexual or asexual or those things. Those are sexual orientations. And all of you have a gender identity as well. And I don't know how you express yourselves, how people see you. That's up to you. You get to decide whatever you want your gender to be and how you express that to the world around you. That's yours. That's yours. What you don't get to do is you cannot undo your genetic sex. You can change the body because the gender dysphoria is really a bad thing. And if you've ever had it, some of you may have, if you've ever had gender dysphoria, if you know what that's about, oh, that's horrible. And the only way to fix it is to affirm who I am. And that's why I do what I do now, because I'm actually the executive director for this organization that you see up here, the TDV Action Group, located down in Alabama. So let me see. I feel like a woman. Sometimes I feel like a woman. Billy John, fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I do want to clearly say this again, right here at the bottom. If you are under 18 years of age, leave this program now, folks. And so, why so late? You were 57? Yeah. Why so late? Well, first thing is, I didn't know there was anybody else out here like me. I thought I was the only person in the world who felt like this, like me. And many of us say the same things. You'll find that out. Many of us say that same kind of thing because we don't want anybody to know, because we know how much other people would hate that kind of stuff in your families, in your communities. In the US now, it's just, the hatred toward us is just phenomenal. And just crazy. Do I know Rosie O'Kelly? I don't know who Rosie O'Kelly is. No. I'm going to have, okay, Billy John, you need to leave. If that's, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but that's kind of like an infantile comment. If you're under 18, get out of here. This is no place for you. As a matter of fact, if you continue saying stuff like that, well, I'll just have to ban you and your comments, because I'm not going to have that kind of crap. All right, so sometimes I talk too much. Just read the chat. Okay, you talk too much? Just read the chat? No, I'm not going to read all the chat. I mean, let me go back and find out what I haven't read yet. Let's see. Nobody ever feels, okay. Here, let's see what Eyeball had to say. Nobody ever feels like they're in the right place. That doesn't mean you're the opposite gender. Eyeball? No, in and of itself, that doesn't. You're right. You're right. But let that go on for years. And let it also go on that every time that you really feel this overwhelming sense that you're in the wrong place, wrong body. And not just an overwhelming sense. I mean, it's not just in the mind part. It's actually, there's some, gender and genetic sex are related. They're not the same, but they're related. They're connected. You know, so severe gender dysphoria will cause you to experience, cause you to seek other avenues to resolve that. For me, that was like 3 episodes with efforts towards suicide. Okay, 3, at least 3. I think maybe a 4th one. And those things, 2 of them, 3 of them, those 3 actually put me in the hospital. All because of gender dysphoria, folks. So you can make fun of it, you can say whatever you want about it, but if you have no comprehension of what that means, listen to those of us who do, who have been through that, okay? That stuff is deadly, especially if it's unresolved. So you have to do something to take care of it. And that's exactly what I did. That's what I did. I decided, I had 3 restaurants one time. Actually, I was part owner in the 3rd one, but on the other 2. And part of that was, in one of those restaurants, I decided I was going to try to kill myself in one of them. That was in 2015. Because I didn't know how to tell people who I am. I didn't know how to tell anyone about it. I could not see how to do it. I put the preparations, I did everything to make it happen and all this kind of stuff. And then I stood on that chair with that noose in my hand, and I fell into the floor crying, bawling. You know, the deep kind of crying way down in, because I'd remembered that I'd lost a niece. And that saved me. And also the fact that I have children, and I didn't want them to have to experience the pain and agony of losing a parent to that, and the grandchildren, and all those kind of things. So, it just hit me that that was a selfish act to escape all of that gender dysphoria I was feeling. So that day I reached out for help, and then the next day I went to see a therapist about it. Talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. She said, well, it looks like you got gender dysphoria. I said, look, doc, I've known that for 20, 30 years. It wasn't called gender dysphoria way back then, but I've known. All right. Let me see. Men age like fine wine, women age like milk. Why do you want to be a woman that's old? No, it's not why. It's I am. The age part of it is just the other side of it, I guessed. So, it's not relevant. The age is not relevant. I know someone who graduated from the Naval Academy in 1962 who transitioned from male to female after they had retired as a Navy captain, and they did that in their 70s because they didn't know how to do it before, but after they were 70 or so and retired and all that kind of stuff, then they could do it. And they've lived happily ever since, and they're in their 80s now, mid-80s right now. And so, yeah, as a matter of fact, some of you don't realize this. Some of you don't realize this, that we are actually in everything. If you're flying around the country in some of our, flying commercial flights around the country, around the world, quite a few of the pilots are trans. Just recently, a good friend of mine who's in the Space Force made colonel. And all we can do is applaud her, just say, yay! And she's a space scientist. And just this morning, guess what happened this morning, y'all? If you're in Virginia, guess what happened there? I'm boring out. Hey, Smika, okay. Well, anyway, so so we had Danica Rom win the Senate seat in the state of Virginia. So, yeah, Danica. Yeah. So we're in everything. We are in everything. You find us in every profession, all the way down to a ditch digger. We're there. And we're in every branch of the military. Yep. Okay, so let me see if I got any other questions I need to go up here and talk to. Billy John says they're 36. Okay. What is wrong? I'm not going to answer that one. Let me see. Did I miss anything up here? Facts. Okay. Sorry, but someone posted your channel. Oh, that's fine. Le Reddit Silver member. Good. I was going to ask for your hand in marriage until you said you like Jews. Well, I like all people, really. I read that one a minute ago. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind. Let me see. Fact. Let me see this one here. Eyeball says, no, we looked at that one a minute ago. That's fine. Not going to worry about that one. Let me see. Why do you look like a woman but talk like a man? Well, that one's pretty straightforward, I guess. Okay. I mentioned that a minute ago as to why that's the case. I have chosen that. I just decided not to go down that road with that because I didn't want to sound like my sisters from Eastern Kentucky. And besides, it's really fun to walk up to somebody who's been staring down your top, and all this, staring down you and, giving that once over look. You see guys walking down the aisle in stores and they got their wives on their arms and they'll look around and watch me walk by. And I'm going, what the heck? But the funny part is now I can walk up to them and say, hey, how you doing? And watch them fall out. That's the funniest reaction I get. I did have two guys one time. This is a couple years back. Two guys. I'm walking into a grocery store here in Alabama, and these two men, they came out of either side of the parking lot, and they made a beeline to that door. They made a beeline to that door. They stood on either side of that door to let me get in. And I'm going to tell you, that was the funniest thing, because you know what? that door is one of those electric ones that's automatic. But I didn't laugh. I just smiled and said, "Hey, thank you." Walked on in. Oh, it's been fun. I can tell you this too. I did take the Ferrari out for a test drive. If y'all don't know what that actually means, if you're still under 18 and in this show, get out of here. All right. So after I had all these procedures and stuff done, I actually would go and I asked my doctor. I said, "Hey, look, doc, when can I take the Ferrari out for a test drive?" And she said, 6 months. Wait, 6 months. I did. I did. I waited 6 months. It wasn't long after that. So I made sure the Ferrari worked well. It does. But I was on a trip last year. I went out to San Francisco and across the Bay Bridge there over down, there's a little community down right after you go through the tunnel down in the South. I don't know what the name of it is, but there's a Ferrari dealership down there in a hotel. And I was staying in that little hotel. But one day I decided to walk over to the Ferrari dealership and walk in and just find out, I just wanted to go look at a Ferrari up close and personal. So I got a lot of pictures with all the Ferraris in there. The little tiny one they had back in the corner, that looked really beautiful red, and some other really nice new Ferraris, and the owner came out. And he said, "So can I help you?" And I said, using this voice, I said, yeah. For the longest time now, I've been telling people that I took the Ferrari out for a test drive, but I wanted to come in and actually see this. You know what his question was to me? "How much did your Ferrari cost?" And I said, "Well, 150,000, 170,000, right in there. Insurance paid all of it for me." And he goes, "Well, there are no Ferraris in here that cheap." Oh, I thought that was so funny. We became good friends. Hi. Hey, it's me, Billy John. Hi, Billy John. I don't know how that is. I'm not going to answer that one, I guess. Let me see. When? 2016. Somebody asked that a while back. Did you decide you were on after PTSD? No. It was well before, years, decades before. Okay. This person says becoming trans with kids is so selfish and embarrassing for the kids. Have you ever asked them? None of my kids felt embarrassed by it. None of my grandkids do either. As a matter of fact, I watched my youngest grandchild today. He's 2.5, 3? Yeah, 2.5. And oh my God, just smart as a tack and full of energy. And I mean, they call me Papa or they call me Cassandra. I don't really care because Cassandra is my name and they can use Cassandra if they want to. But I've always left it up to them to decide how they want to identify me. It's up to them. I know who I am. I don't need any validation from all of them. And I also don't want to put them in any position that makes that hard for them. So they can use whatever term they want. I really don't care because that's on them. Just like all of you over here, anyone listening and watching these kind of shows and talking to people like me, I'm not going to be that person who gets in your face and tells you, you got to do this, you got to do it. No, you don't have to. And I'd be wrong to tell you to do that. It would be wrong of me to stand in your face and demand you try to take me as I see myself when you have a hard time with it. I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm fine with it. Be yourself. Be you all you want. Just don't be violent about it. Don't be mean about it, mean-spirited. Just be good people, okay? All right, so let me see if I got everything covered over here in the chat because it's almost about that time. Do you dial 8? I don't know what that means. I have no earthly idea what dialing 8 means. I'm a croag. What's a croag? Okay, sometimes I feel like a woman. Okay. And I don't know Rosie O'Kelly. What's wrong with that? I'm also a live streamer. Hey, absolutely. Boring. I'm out. Okay. I'm at 18 thinking about, okay, well, if you're 18, fine. Think about it. But that's not the way this works, folks. If that's the way you think, let me describe that medical procedure. And if you're under 18, leave because this part of the conversation is not for you. Go ahead and bring all your other friends over here. Everybody else, go start bringing people in from whatever streams that you have right now because I'm going to tell you what this procedure is actually like. I went through something called a modified one-step vaginoplasty. Then all at once. I'm going to tell you what it's like. It's not what you say right here. It's not what you think at all. Period. So anyway, yeah, thanks, Javier. Appreciate it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Tommy. How you doing, Tommy? So anyway, so I wanted to explain to a lot of people. I mean, I've seen all these comments up through here on YouTube and wherever everyone's coming from, but I'm going to, everybody over there on YouTube, bring all your friends over. Come on, let's come on over and have a conversation, because I don't mind talking to you, and I'll talk to you straight up the way it is. So if there's anyone under 18, these last couple of conversations I want to have, you need to leave now. And I am serious. If you're under 18, get out of here. And this person asking this question, yeah. All right. So this is the question that was asked. Okay. This is from Pink Kitten, and that's not how it works. That's not how this works at all. First thing is you've got to be, you've got to have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria. First thing. That's the first clue. There's time. You've got to actually spend time doing this life that you wish to become. If it's male that you wish to come into or go into, fine. If it's female, fine. But you've got to take some time to figure that out and know for sure that that's exactly what it is. Don't rush into this thing. It took me 30 years to actually finally get to the place where I have to do something about it and where I felt comfortable enough to do it. Okay. So this is what he said. He said, "You're a sicko." Oh, hi, Watchman. Cool. King Cobra Sim. Well, you can say whatever you want. I mean, that's up to you. That's whatever they want to call me. That's fine too. Let me go down here. Come on back and bring all your friends. Go over and bring them all. Just raid the whole show, folks. Bring them all over here. So right now, I want to tell you what that procedure is like. Are you ready? Are you really ready for this? All right. Imagine doing this. Imagine taking one of those long tube socks you've got in your drawer, if you've got any of those. Anybody wear them anymore? I don't know, but if you've got some of those socks, you got a sock in your drawer somewhere. This is the actual process, the procedure that I went through. Now, it's different for everybody in some cases, but mine was what's called a modified one-step vaginoplasty. So basically what they do is they create that vaginal canal, and then what they do after that to line it, they take the muscle out of the sock, reach inside the sock to the end of it, pull it inside out. That becomes the lining inside your neovagina. And believe me, I was ecstatic to finally have that process and that taken care of for me. And here's the other thing, and every one of you out there who have no idea about gender dysphoria or what it actually means, anyone else who hears me say this, anyone else who hears me talk about something like that, they're cringing. They're going, ah, squeezing their legs together. Go, oh no, oh no. No, nerve ending's not ruined. Fear. No, works fine. Everything was recreated the way it's supposed to be. So it all works great. And I told you, if you're under 18, get out of here. I don't know if there are, but I mean, get out of here. All right. So I'll have to put some kind of age restriction on this, but I know people can get around the age restriction. So I'm going to tell people all the time, if you're under 18, get out of here. Oh, yeah. Right. Well, Watchman for you. Right. Okay. Yes, he sure did. He sure did. He, along with the 6 million Jews that your Uncle Adolf took care of, he did go after and kill LGBT people and all the trans people there. And there were a lot there in Germany. We've been around for a long time. We've been around for, I don't know, ever since people fell out of the darn tree and started walking upright. Yeah, we've been around a long freaking time. Every culture on earth, we've been there. This is not new. There are records of us all the way back into the Assyrians and the Babylonians, you name it. And even with the indigenous cultures all around the world, including here. So pink triangle, that's right, Tommy, pink triangle. That's exactly what that was. Adolf put that pink triangle on people, and then they were rushed off and executed as well. And if you think that is actually what needs to happen, then you are not. I mean, I'm not the person who needs a little bit of counseling right there. Because, I mean, no group of people need to ever be threatened like that by anyone or any other group. And I'm going to tell you something that if right now, though, no, Mangus Hirschfield. I don't know. Let me see. Is the father of this? Who the heck is Mangus Hirschfield? I've never heard that name ever. Have you ever heard that name? Who the heck is Mangus Hirschfield, you all? I'll do a search on that. Somebody can tell me. Put it over there in the comments. But anyway, so, it's really, we've been around forever in every place, all around the planet. And for another group of people to say that they don't like that group so much that they're willing to execute them, as in Hitler, then those people are just off there, freaking rockers. As a matter of fact, you're entitled to believe what you want. And I serve this nation so that you can believe the crap, whatever you want to believe. That's fine. That's fine. But act upon it and start carrying out those beliefs in a violent way towards the other people you don't like. That is a bridge too far, folks. That is a bridge too far. Bridge too far. I don't know if there's any other comments over here. That one I think is really funny. Avir. Avir, yeah. No. Oh, let's see. Washington is the father of the LGBT plus the 64 genders and did the first sex change operations. Okay. Well, you know more about it than I do. But the 64 gender bit, no, he wouldn't have known that then. Because when was that first sex change operation? Do you know? Now, let me give you a hint. I bet you don't know. There are some, I'm gonna say it like this, and I'm gonna see if you can pick it up. I'm gonna say it just like this, so you see if you can pick this up. There are some who were made this way, and there are some who were born this way. You know where that comes from? There are some who were made this way, and there are some who were born that way. Do you know where that phrase comes from, or something similar to it? You know where that comes from? Anybody? Put it in a comment over there. Let's go ahead. Put it in the comments. Just jump right in and tell me what you think about that one. I'm going to tell you, it wasn't Mangus Hirschfeld. It was not Mangus Hirschfeld. I don't know the name. And the 64 gender bit, I don't know what the heck the 64 gender thing is. No, gender is on a continuous spectrum, folks. You can decide whatever it is for you, anywhere between masculine, complete masculine on one side and complete female on the other side, but there's everything possible in between. It's a continuous spectrum. 64 is, no, there's an infinity of possibilities there. I came up with 64 genders. Let me see. You see, the pictures you see of Nazis burning books was Mangus Hirschfield's books on his sexology collage. Okay, college or whatever. Okay, 64 genders, but he was wrong. But also, that's still two things. Yeah, it is two things. It's two things, but there's on either end. They're the ones that are likely to occur, the male and the female side. The male and the female side, they're like this, You got male and female as being the most predominantly expressed genetic sex and gender. Make sure you're clear on that. They're both distinct but related. But obviously, those two are the highest occurrence across the whole planet. But there's everything in between. It gets gradually smaller to the least populated one, the least count of one, the population count. So, I mean, it's not 64. You get to pick that anywhere along that line. And sometimes you can just go right along and pick anything you want. I mean, there's nothing like that. Oh, okay, yeah. There you go. I got it. I see where you're talking about there, watching for you. Got it. But can you tell me where that phrase came from, or that kind of my paraphrasing of that phrase? There are those who were made that way, and there are those who were born that way. That comes out of the Bible. They're talking about eunuchs. And those people right there were some people back then who were made that way, and there were those who were born that way. We know that today too. It's the same freaking stuff today. Same thing. But do you know what Philip did? Now look, Acts uh, chapter 8, I think, maybe. I don't know the exact chapter, but in Acts, they were talking about um, no. I have a runny nose all the time. I've had runny nose for years. Okay. So anyway, that's a good one. So where was I going? Oh, made up. Okay. All right. But gender is a made up name. There's no such thing as gender. It's only sex, males and female. No, you're wrong there. And I just explained that to you. Here, let me go into a little bit more detail and explain it because I don't want to bore people to death by talking about that part of it. To get into the nuances of this. And by the way, you sound like you're pretty knowledgeable about these things, or at least you studied it for some reason. I don't know why, uh, but we've lived it and we've studied this kind of stuff. And I'd never seen that Hirschfeld's name before. Don't really care because I know that his understanding was not accurate. But anatomical sex, the external expression of anatomical sex occurs in the late first, early second trimester in utero. And that occurs because of the sex hormones that get to flood the body at that point. And it causes this to occur when you have external anatomical development occurring. And that's when you can actually determine the genetic or the external sex or the anatomical sex. You can't determine the genetic sex from that without doing a genetic test. But the anatomical sex you can see and observe, but that doesn't tell you that that's exactly what the genetic sex is, because obviously, and if you know this too, by the way, Watchmen, there are men whose genetic sex is XX. Externally, completely, physically, were born as men and raised as men, and testosterone flooded their early lives, and they're men, except that their genes are XX, which is, on a macro scale, female, right? There's also women who were born with XY genes. And it all depends on how those things actually interact and how those things actually express and the proteins that get developed from the DNA whenever it expresses, okay? There's a lot in there, a lot of stuff there. But I'm going to tell you this, though, that gender actually occurs later on. And part of it is a social acclimation. Part of it is the external world that we live in, and we determine what that person is supposed to look like based on culture and families and traditions and all that kind of stuff. That's the gender part of it. But you know what happens, though, in utero also? The hormonal flooding of the fetal brain occurs in the late second, early third trimester. And ordinarily, for everyone over here, for everyone over there listening to me right now, ordinarily those two things actually are the same. I mean, the same hormones get transmitted over to make the brain flood with these hormones, or they actually match the one that produced the anatomical sex back in the late second, or I mean the early second, late first trimester in utero, but they don't have to. For 99.5% of the time, folks, 99.5% of the time, they do match, they do align. By that I mean anatomical sex expressed with this particular sex hormone, the brain gets flooded in the late second, early third trimester with the same hormonal flooding that occurred earlier, but that switching doesn't have to occur. And it doesn't in a lot of cases, for us anyway. That 0.5, that 0.6% of the human population everywhere, there's that misalignment, and they don't have to match. And that's what's happened. But that's that kind of implantation that occurs within the brain, the flooding of the fetal brain that occurs. And that causes brain development to occur, because you could actually, there are studies that actually show that there are some small, very small differences between people like me and their brain structure and organization as a result of that misconnection between the misalignment between those two things occurring in utero prior to birth. Those things are the stuff that drive that gender thing, because you've got this internal sense of who you are, You knew your gender when you were 4 or 5. I mean, you knew what your anatomical sex was, and you also associated your gender with that anatomical sex for most people. Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. Anyway, there's a lot I can get into in the weeds over on that because that's, for years. Oh, let me see what this one is. Brain fluid. No, I shouldn't laugh. You're right. You're right. That is a possibility for that, and I've seen that has occurred to people. There have actually been cases of that. So I'm sorry about your uncle. I'm sorry that I laughed there about that initially because you're right. You're right about that. That is a possibility, but the VA hasn't said anything about that yet. And no, Avir, no. Yeah. Well, no, no, I'm not the kind of person who's going to do that. Absolutely not. No way. Ba-bum. So, even with normal, no, I don't have testosterone levels. Ba-da-ba-da. Brian Risso, no, my testosterone, my hormonal levels get checked every 6 months with the VA. And I can tell you that the testosterone levels in my body are so close to zero that it's nearly impossible to measure. Whereas estrogen is within the normal female range for a woman my age. There you go. Okay. Well, yeah, well, okay. No, Avir, thank you so much. I appreciate it, but that is not happening, my friend from your Persian ancestry. No, not happening. Okay, so anything else I need to talk about? Okay, a real woman wouldn't miss the opportunity to show off her implants. Well, look now. First thing is I'm 64 years old, soon to be 65. Do you think that would be really kosher? Now, granted, that get me in trouble sometimes, but I'm going to tell you something. That's just not what women do. And I don't know if where you're from or whatever, but I mean, yeah, I mean, they're whatever, it's, and oh my gosh, Avir. Okay, so let me see. BPH in the bottles causes boys to be filled with estrogen like compound. Also, soy in the food acts as estrogen. You know a lot about this stuff there, Watchman. You sure do. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, when I started taking hormones in 2009. And I'm going to tell you, the impact was quick, but it still took a long time. But the impact that I felt was just crazy. So, but I was also doing a lot of those things that you're referring to as what's called phytoestrogens. They're plant-based. The estrogen that's found in these plants mimic and look like hormones. The estrogen produced by, or that's used for HRT, hormone replacement therapy. It's just, they look the same. Chemically, they look the same, and they have the same impact. But the thing is, you have to eat a lot of soy to have the same impact as taking just a pill that the doctors give you for estrogen. But I do know they work because one of the first things I did was I studied. I studied for about 7 years prior to jumping off into doing this because I wasn't going to go in blind. I wasn't going to go in without the knowledge. I was also not going to let anyone know what was going on. I never let anyone know. And, I've been in and out of construction all my life, so I spent a lot of time traveling. And so, yeah. So what I did was I was buying soy, fenugreek, other herbs that are high in phytoestrogen content by bulk. I bought it by bulk in a big 1 pound bag, and then it wouldn't take me long to devour the whole darn bag. But I was also taking that at the same time with the actual natural estrogen. And after about, I'd say 6 years of doing that, I ended up in the hospital. And that was not a fun experience, folks. I was in there because I couldn't breathe anymore. And the only thing I was doing was, I was taking the estrogen pill. I knew how to get it. I knew where to get it. I didn't let anybody know how I was getting anything. But I did that, and it put me in a hospital. I nearly died. That was the first attempt. At least that was the first closest attempt at suicide. But geez, after you finally just be yourself, you don't have to hide anymore. You don't have all that kind of crap dragging you down anymore. The suicide rates drop off dramatically after a person actually is acknowledged to themselves and to their world, whatever that world consists of, ever how big that world might be. Then they actually suicide rate stops dropping back down to close to normal, even though suicide is not normal for anyone. And some of you may not know this, by the way. I'm just going to say this out loud to everybody out there. Okay, I'm looking at a comment over here. So let me just say this out loud. What was I going to say out loud to everyone? Geez. Oh, I know what it is now. Everyone knows veterans. If any of you are veterans over here and you're thinking of hurting yourself, please dial 988 and hit option 1. That's the emergency number. You can call that and talk to somebody. And it's very important. If you know someone who's going through this, then experiencing suicidal ideation, ask them. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't walk around the bush about this. Walk up to them, up to your friend, and say, are you thinking of suicide? Because it's been found out, it's known that if you ask the direct question, you're likely to save a person's life. Even if you get an answer that says no, or get an answer that says yes, or whatever, but if you're asked them, then they'll realize people are paying attention to them. So you need to ask those questions. So don't be afraid to ask the question. However, veteran suicide in the United States is 2.5 times higher than our civilian counterparts. 2.5 times higher, folks. That's the rate. But did you know for LGBT veterans, and there are lots of us, lots of LGBT veterans, that rate is 2.5 times higher than that one. So you want to reduce veteran suicide? Make sure your friends who are veterans, are good, are in a good place. Check on them. And I don't know if any of you know anyone like that. Okay, I can assure you there are no veterans in here right now, LOL. Oh, there are. There are. I know a few already. I know at least 2. Because this is a veterans organization, by the way. This is the Transgender and Diverse Veterans of America Action Group side of things. So that's what this organization is all about, making sure that our veterans are taken care of. And I do a lot of activism, a lot of advocacy on their behalf. Well, because I am one. So veteran trollers, no, they're not veteran trollers. If they are, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm a vet of the great meme war of 2016. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. The great meme war. Oh my gosh. Carly says, I can assure you there are no veterans in here right now, LOL. Well, I'm one. There's a couple others in here. I'm not going to point them out, but I know who they are. Okay. I know I'm fearless. Carly. I know. I mean, he's just so, whatever, my camera. He's just so captivated by my allure, right? It's just, shoot. Since I'm down here in Alabama, you know what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to do this. Oh, I'm getting the flutters, whatever that is. What's the word you use down here in the South? Oh my God, what is it? Not flutters, but it's, there's a Southern term for that. Whew, I forgot now. Just woke up, hit my mind. All right. Well, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening because, this show is only supposed to last about an hour, but I don't mind talking with people. Next time all of you come over, bring all your friends. I don't mind. As a matter of fact, what I will do is if you can be respectful and if we can carry on a decent conversation, being respectful of all those who aren't necessarily like you, then, I can share with it and bring you on stage and we can have a conversation. And Avir, let me see. Oh my God. All right. So gasp and swoon. He caught the vape. That's the word. I was looking for vapors. That's the word. Vapors. Shoo, got the vapors. Y'all are awesome. Bye, everybody.